at the age of 50, 130 pounds heavier than I am now. I was one meatball sub away from morbidly obese, and I had tried everything that my doctors had done to try to fix what was going on with me. They were dealing with it from a symptomology standpoint, and they told me at 52, they said, "You are going to die in the next couple years. We've done everything we can for you."
Hi, I'm Lennis Woods Mullins, and I love to help women to vibe, to be more vibrant, intuitive, beautiful, and empowered in midlife. So come on, let's vibe. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another great episode of the V.I.B.E Living Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about what it's going to take this time around for us to get fit. Whether you're at the stage of 50 or at the stage of 60, or maybe you're 35, we find that as we get older, it seems to get harder to drop those unwanted pounds and inches. As I like to say, we want to try to figure out a way to release those unwanted pounds and inches, not lose, because if you lose something, you usually find it again. So that's why we have with us today Sheila Kelty, who is an optimal health expert with more than 10 years experience of working with women and over 20,000 hours of coaching women when it comes to their overall wellness, with an emphasis on releasing unwanted pounds and inches. Sheila, welcome to the V.I.B E Living Program. It's wonderful to have you here today.
Thank you for having me, Lennis. I really appreciate this opportunity.
So tell us, first of all, what is an optimal health expert?
An optimal health expert is someone who works with people to optimize their health first and foremost as the center of how to be healthy for a lifetime. Too many people focus on an outcome that they want to have. I want to drop 10 pounds, or I want to get rid of the inflammation, or I want to deal with this ache or pain or this autoimmune disease or deal with diabetes. And we're conditioned to talk that way about our health because when we go to the doctors, and conventional doctors, bless their hearts, they're overwhelmed in their offices, but they deal with symptoms. And they ask you, "So what's bugging you?" And you might say, "I have a headache, or I have this, or I have that." And they get out their pad and they deal with symptoms. An optimal health expert works holistically to deal with a 360-degree holistic approach to make your health the best that it can be for you, and creates a storm in your body that when you're optimized, your body balances back out. So if you optimize your health, your body will release the excess weight that you have for a lifetime, not a diet for this amount of time, and afterwards I'm eating my rice cakes and non-fat yogurt and drinking tab in the corner, and then later on I can go back to what I was doing before. That's a short-term solution to a lifelong problem. And when you deal with a holistic optimizing of your health, you leave suitcases of unwanted fat on the side of the road for good, like I did in my journey.
Now, tell us a little bit about your journey, how you arrived at being as well as you are now. I think it's a fascinating story, and there's a couple of surprises there, because bottom line is that you lost like almost two people in terms of how much weight you actually lost. But tell us about that.
Well, I'd been fairly healthy most of my life, and somewhere in my early 30s, about 32, 33, I started having a spinal collapse syndrome, along with lupus, diabetes, and all kinds of problems. My body was just imploding, and had more than 12 major surgeries on my spine in only 10 years. And then the next 5 years after that, had six more. Ended up in an electric wheelchair at the age of 50, 130 pounds heavier than I am now. I was one meatball sub away from morbidly obese, and I had tried everything that my doctors had done to try to fix what was going on with me. They were dealing with it from a symptomology standpoint, and they told me at 52, they said, "You are going to die in the next couple years. We've done everything we can for you. You should get your affairs in order. You're extremely diabetic. You're losing your organs to lupus. They were just drying up and burning through with inflammation. And you can't exercise, so you can't lose weight because it's calories in, calories out. And they read me the riot act, and you have no willpower. Look at you. They shamed me about how big I had gotten. I lost my husband to being ill. He couldn't take dealing with me and my, death impending. He took off. And I was alone, feeling kind of like a fat house plant
Mhm.
in my little apartment. And my life had gotten so small. And my therapist said, I'm not talking you into dying. This is ridiculous. Use that brain of yours, go figure it out. So I did. And when I found the key to using food as medicine, mindset shifts at the core, my weight just started falling off my body with no exercise. Remember, I was in an electric wheelchair at the time. I only had use of my left
That's the
arm.
fascinating part. You were sedentary at the time when
Yeah,
you lost the weight.
completely, completely. And I had assistants that would come in and deal with me every day. I mean, I was one arm away from being a quadriplegic. And slowly my lupus went away and went asleep. My diabetes disappeared. I dropped, 130 pounds. I got up out of the wheelchair and I started using crutches. And then I started just walking on my own. And they said, this doesn't happen. This isn't, they tried to talk me out of the fact that it was happening. And that's when I took back control of my life. And I went, I said, it was so incredibly powerful transformation. I had stopped dreaming of what my next chapter could be. I had given up. I had no future plans at all. I had my estate all in order. I was checking out. And all of a sudden, I'm living up in Portland. I moved to another state to live near my son, and I'm a board certified master health coach and deal with gut microbiome, and I'm a mindfulness meditation instructor so that I can help other women who may feel helpless and hopeless about ever having health in their lives again, giving that gift to them by coaching them and teaching them how to do it based on science, based on real methodology, evidence based. I take other people's health very seriously. It's a very big responsibility. I'm not some keto cheerleader or something. And it's been a reason to get out of bed. It's gotten me through depression. It's gotten me through loss and grief and building a next wonderful chapter of my life because I found this answer that I now help other people with.
That's such a wonderful and impactful story. And going back to the idea of being sedentary, there are a lot of myths that are
Mhm.
associated to weight loss that I want to talk about because I think it might make a difference in terms of people understanding the things that they need to really know in terms of vetting all this information that's out there about weight release. And now, one of the myths is that you don't necessarily have to work out in order to lose weight.
Right.
What are some of the other ones that are out there that people are believing are true that really aren't?
Well, these myths are so ingrained in us. They're told to us by our doctors and authorities and people for so many years, even when they take my courses and they take my coaching and they're dropping weight like crazy. They still say, but shouldn't I stop eating so much? Shouldn't I work out twice as much? And there's this calories in, calories out energy management, that obesity is just an energy management problem. You're just not putting out enough energy. Like there's a battery or a furnace inside of us and we put food in and it burns. And it just doesn't work that way. But people still hold on to that and sabotage their best efforts because we really believe it to be true. The biggest one about that is that it's about eating more and moving less. The more we work out, so if we do those chronic workouts where Jillian Michaels is screaming at you to row, 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 and do this all day and sweat and burn and sweat, and the hot yoga with the hot rooms and the hot everything, the more you sweat, the more weight you lose. And all of those fitness myths, all they do is create a storm of cortisol in your body, which is a master hormone, stress hormone, and it causes you to actually gain weight for the next 2 weeks. And it starts your body craving sugar again as fast fuel to heal all that anxiety.
Hmm.
So it's we have it so backwards. So completely backwards about that. The only concern I ever have about calories is if people aren't eating enough. People can self-regulate their calories as well. We don't have to count how many calories we have a day. Like women should have 1,200 calories, that whole myth. When we listen to our bodies, and I teach my clients to truly honor their hormones, honor the signals that God in the universe gives you inside your body about what you need to survive. If you really listen and honor those signals, you can sharpen them and make them better and clearer and know what your body needs. You can gain the wisdom, the ancient wisdom we used to have about how to feed ourselves. For instance, you can't overeat fat. All of this control about how much fat people have. Fat's one of those things you just can't sit down with a bucket of butter and go for it. It's we have an aversion to doing that. The same with protein. There's just so much that it's a little bit easier to overeat protein because it's can be more delicious and more satisfying. The only thing that you can overeat are carbohydrates and refined sugar carbohydrates. Even though those have calories, they're not equal to the calories of dense nutrition.
Interesting, because a lot of people, their snacks and their processed foods and
Mhm.
everything are full of that. So,
Mhm.
given the fact that these are some of the myths that we have been believing that and thinking that it will help us lose weight,
Right.
instead, it might actually prevent you from losing and you might even gain weight.
Exactly.
What are the things that could be done that actually can help you lose weight that we wouldn't think would make a difference?
Slowing down our workouts. There's something called the MAF, which stands for maximum aerobic function. And
Mhm.
if your heart rate gets too high, you go into that chronic cardio range. And the formula is 180 minus your age, that should be your maximum heart rate for fat loss to encourage fat loss off of your body. Now, you don't lose fat at the time of working out. It sets fat up off of your body as fuel that you lose at night when you're sleeping. But in order to set up the correct hormone signaling to release the weight later on, you need to slow down your workouts. If it goes too high, that cortisol is released and you gain weight. There are a lot of people that work out way too much thinking they're helping themselves, and they actually go nowhere. Their weight is stalled. And then what do? They drop their calories trying to do that. So keep your calories up and keep your workouts at that MAF range, 180 minus your age. And that will give you the weight loss amount. Now, once you reached a weight you want to be at for cardio function, it's 220 minus age. So you get to go up. The other thing is when you're carrying all that excess weight, it's very dangerous for your body to push those workouts for your knees, for your hips, for your heart and your organs to try to move this bigger machinery around. So keep it lower. The best thing you know what the best exercise you can do on the planet for fat loss? Walking. Just walking. Just get out and walk 20 minutes a day, every single day. Make it your new habit. Really focus on what you're doing when you're doing it. And if you do that, it encourages fat loss like crazy. And it's hard to get above your MAF when you're walking.
I read a statistic the other day, this newsletter that Harvard puts out on weight loss. And they were
Mhm.
saying that if you could get out and walk at least 30 minutes a day,
Mhm.
5 days a week,
Mhm.
that you could extend your life by 7 years just by doing that
Yep.
one little thing. And it's
Mhm.
amazing because the 20 minutes goes by very fast. There's all kinds of things you can do excuse me, that I coach my clients to do to get motivated to walk and to stay walking the 20 minutes. And many times they end up walking longer than 20 minutes. Many times it's our mindset, the things going on between our two ears that kind of governs how we encode the world and how 20 minutes seems like 2 hours. What do you do with women to help them with their mindset and to overcome some of the wrong thinking that they have developed over time about weight loss?
Well, it depends on what the topic is. For instance, if the mindset is I don't like working out, I don't work out, I'm not a workout person, oh, 20 minutes of walking.
Mhm.
We try to start with some habit stacking. So when we make something easy, something we already do, and we add another habit to that, it helps ingrain that new groove in the record so it becomes part of who you are. So, for instance, if you want to start the habit, now it starts with the desire. You have to want to make this change. We can't help people change who don't want to. That happens when your mind opens up and gives permission for that change. But even when you do that, it's hard to make the change. So, a really great tip is, for instance, if you want to get into the habit of walking every morning, when first thing when you get up in the morning, burn off all the sugars that have built up in your system during the night and start your day off with a good cardio workout. But you're feeling like I'm not a workout person, I don't work out, and it ends up being 11 morning and they go, I'll start tomorrow. Set your clothes out the night before of your workout clothes, your socks, your shoes, your sweats, your scrunchie for your hair, whatever it is to get out the door, put it right there next to your bed. So when you wake up, that's what you put on, and it'll help you get out the door faster. We find that people are 60% more likely to go work out when the outfit is sitting out and
Yeah. What
making
about
it.
that? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It kind of prepares your mind. It sets the mindset. And
Mhm.
speaking of set, I know we have something coming up with the V.I.B.E Wellness Woman Network that you are sponsoring, and it is the V.I.B.E Reboot Challenge, and it has everything, or Summer Challenge, I should say. And it has everything to do with the ability to lose pounds and inches within 6 weeks. Please tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm very excited to offer this to the V.I.B.E Wellness Women ladies because, I just love your network. I support it so much.
Mhm.
And it's just wonderful what you're putting out into the world. And I want to support that. So, this is a summer challenge, starts May 27th, so the day after Memorial Day when you get back to the world. And it is 6 weeks. And during the 6 weeks, you can release 10 to 15 pounds on average. We just had a group of 10 ladies do it. They lost a little over 100 pounds as a group, but they also lost 17 feet off their bodies. 10 women in this group. And these are small cohorts that start at the same time. It's a group that all starts and it builds on community. Women are wonderful for establishing community, but we learn a lot of things during that 6 weeks. The primary goal is to get people off of craving and snacks and wanting sugars and having that food crave, that food noise that Oprah calls it, get that to turn off. Turn that off using dense nutrition, mindset changes, all the different ways we go about it, and helping people shift from this is just who I am, I'm just overweight, to someone who is now seeing changes happen at a real fundamental level and seeing the inevitability of weight loss when you start with health. It's a
Wow.
whole different way of working, and it's something you can take with you for a lifetime and continue doing, and women do.
Well, I understand the one thing that's really good about the program is that even though it's being launched during the summer, once you have actually released the weight, and I had said earlier in the podcast about the important messaging behind releasing weight versus losing weight, once you release it, it doesn't come back. So theoretically, what you're doing in the summer should still benefit you during the holidays, beginning of the year, and on throughout. And because it's dealing with a lot of like lifestyle changes, you probably, if you keep incorporating those lifestyles, could still continue to lose weight.
Absolutely, because we're not dealing with a diet where you do a certain protocol for a certain period of time and then you can go right back to your old lifestyle. That's insanity. That's how the $76 billion a year diet industry is a $76 billion a year diet industry because your failure is built into that model that we're all used to. Well, how long is the diet? When can I go back to my life is what I hear often. How long do I have to grit my teeth? And it's really, but it's true, but that's how we think. And the diet industry needs you to fail so you can be a repeat customer and keep making them money. So your failure is not your fault. It's built into the system that we're
Well,
supposed to be conditioned to fail.
yeah, it's interesting too because we're not aware of that. It's so Machiavellian in the way that it's given to us. It's so subliminal that many times we're not aware of it. But I would venture to say that just listening to this podcast, people's awareness is being raised. Sometimes just a little bit of information can be, power. But what I really want people to do that are listening to this podcast, be powerful, act on this information. First, I have a couple of challenges for you all here listening to this podcast. Go ahead and share this podcast with two or three women that you care about that you know might need a little bit of help. being overweight does not it's all about what you feel comfortable in your body. I am not considered overweight, but I know I don't feel comfortable with my 10 extra pounds. Okay. So I would send it to myself. Okay. So it's not so much what they look like, it's what they're feeling like. If they've been talking a lot about, how they're feeling, lack of energy, not able to sleep, complaining about, clothes being too tight or not wanting to wear the clothes they have, all those little things, which actually taking a program like Sheila's will help them through that. So I'm challenging all of you to go ahead and send this and share this podcast out with 2 or 3 of your friends that you think would be interested. And the other thing is to click on the link below, which is going to give you more information about the V.I.B.E. I want to say this right, the V.I.B.E. Reboot or Reset Summer's Challenge. What's the correct messaging? The
V.I.B.E. Reboot Summer Challenge.
Okay, thank you. The V.I.B.E. Reboot Summer Challenge is all based about holistically releasing weight because you talk about things involving the mind, the body, and the spirit, and it helps you deal with causation. Why did you get here in the first place? And what can you do moving forward differently in your lifestyle so that you don't repeat the same things and end up the same way that you were before? So please
And
click on
it's
that
not
link.
just coursework either. It's not just here's a course that you follow and so forth. There is coaching for all 6 weeks. We track over 50 different metrics to really see how is your health doing during that time. We take your progress very, very seriously, and we work with everybody's got a different pace. But our goal is to get you from a place where you think it's my fault that I'm failing and I have no willpower and changing that narrative to seeing health as a lifelong journey, and that by getting healthy that your body will release this weight, release any dis-ease that you have in your body when you reset and reboot your body to optimizing it. All kinds of things are going to be happening for you health wise: energy, sleeping, gut, hormones, feeling vibrant and alive, and rejoining your sex life, getting intimate with your partner again, getting out into the world and moving from, I can't have that junk food I love so much, and mourning that food you can't have anymore that's comforted you for so long, and shifting to, I won't put that junk in my body. Truly learning to put yourself first. And it's something women are not told to do. It's
That's right.
very difficult for us as trained caregivers that we are to truly get that mask on ourselves before we put it on someone else. And that's okay to prioritize your health, to prioritize your sleep. I have women who are married and like, well, my husband doesn't like to go to bed at that time. And I'm like, but you need to go to bed at that time, for you. Just being able to speak to your spouse or your partner and establish new boundaries and stand up for yourself and for your health. It's quite the journey, and just cannot explain the transformation you can have in that 6 weeks. And 6 weeks is there for a reason too, Linus. It wasn't just a number that was grabbed. It truly is the amount of time that's required to break those lifestyle habits permanently. If it's, I've tried 5 and 4 and people go right back. There's something about that 6 week number
Wow.
that
Amazing.
really does help.
Amazing. So please go ahead and click on that link. It's going to lead you to a page where you're going to get even more information about this wonderful summer program that really will have impact for the rest of your life. And we only have 15 slots. So you want to act on this right away. And here's the wonderful thing is we have a huge discount for you that we're offering. It's a huge discount. Be looking for that discount code. And if you finish the 6 weeks, which I'm sure you will, if you finish the 6 weeks, then you get an extra month for free at no charge to belong to the V.I.B.E. Wellness Women Network, which is full of information about different ways for you to feel more vibrant, intuitive, beautiful, and empowered. Yes,
I
you.
will also add to that anyone who successfully completes the program, and we track everything you do in there, so we really can follow along and know what's going on and do everything we can to help you get over the finish line. I will also provide 1 free month of continuation coaching.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. One free month of continuation coaching,
Yep.
1 month with the V.I.B.E Wellness Woman Network, and a significant discount. You cannot beat this. So please go ahead and click on that link below, get started, find out more about the program, and then go ahead and purchase the program and get on board so you can start on March 27th. Wow, Sheila, thank you so much for being on the Vi Living podcast today. It's
May
wonderful.
27th, right?
Did I say March?
Yes.
Sorry, May 27th, 5/27, 2025. I don't know when you'll be listening to this podcast, but it's going to be released during that time. But I would also, because I'm going to have all of Sheila's other information, if there's other information there that you can click on later on after this to find out when the next courses are and what other things, wonderful things she is doing to help women release their weight. Sheila, thank you so much for being on the show today.
You, Linus, you're amazing. I love everything you're doing out in the world, and God bless you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Have a fantastic day. And don't forget to vibe. Bye bye, everybody. Thanks for listening to the V.I.B E Living Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and share this podcast. Have a fantastic day, and don't forget to vibe. Bye-bye, everybody.